Hey guys, have you ever dreamed of going from being an employee to maybe a manager and then ultimately owning your own business? It's a journey that can be so inspiring, but it's also challenging and then become incredibly rewarding. In this video, I'll be sharing my own personal story and the lessons that I've learned along the way. Whether you're just starting out as an employee or already a manager looking to possibly take that next step, you won't want to miss this. So follow along and see if you can turn your dreams into an actual reality. Let's get started. So in reality, any entrepreneur typically starts as an employee. And that's where I started. I worked for a company and I started from the very bottom. So in the mortgage industry back in the day, there was things called shippers. So I started at the very bottom in an operational role, and anyone that personality profiles their employees would have very quickly realized that that is not the role that I need to be in. Started in operations, worked my way up through operations, then went into assisting, grew as an assistant, and then eventually became an originator, which is probably considered one of the top, employee positions in the sales role in the mortgage company. Went from an employee as an originator to then a sales manager. So then I started to teach others to do what I did. Then a branch manager, which would then manage not only sales, but also the operations. And then eventually from branch manager, I would call it a district manager, and then eventually to a company owner. So how you grow in the hierarchy is you learn to do the tasks, then you learn to teach the tasks, then you learn to manage the tasks, then you can eventually own the company. After I finished up my master's in 2009, 2010-ish, the economy was in the crapper.
The opening bell is going to ring in 5 seconds, and to be honest with you, we wish it wouldn't.
Traders here working the phone say a lot of their customers are freaked out.
It was not a strong time to be entering the workforce, regardless of what field you were entering, especially the financial field. And I fortunately was in the circle of people that saw that I was smart, aggressive, talented, and had a really strong work ethic, and gave me the opportunity to learn the mortgage industry. Fortunately, the industry that I was pulled into or given the opportunity to learn is one that has really high margins and has the opportunity to, if you work hard, reward you very well financially. So I think as people are starting whatever journey that is as an employee, because that's truly how you learn. You are paying a price to the company owner to make mistakes on someone else's dime, to have the mentorship available that you can't find in a book, and to learn something that they had to learn through their own experience. So when someone comes into any industry, whatever that is, and is a little bit spiteful that they are making money for someone else that owns the company, you have to think you are, I hate to use the word, but you are tithing to them and paying them for the education that you're receiving on the job. So I think that's a really, really important piece, is that when anyone is entering the workforce, find something that excites you, find something that allows you to do what you really enjoy, and then just make sure that you can make good margins on whatever you're doing. So if you're in sales, ask what in your interview, what is someone that is a top producer, what are they making on an annual basis? I personally have always been in the sales side because I want to know that when I'm working harder and putting in the hours and doing more work, that I will be compensated appropriately for that work. And when you're on a salary and working those hours, it's not necessarily rewarded financially for how well you perform in your job. So that is something to think about. Sales typically has more risk, but also has more reward. So I've always had a very risky personality and always would bet on myself. So anytime that I was looking at a position to take, I wanted one that was in sales, primarily commission-based. So when I started my career in the mortgage industry, I made a lot of mistakes. I had to figure out how to build relationships. I had to figure out how to really excel at my job. And After doing that for 6 or 7 years, not necessarily all with the same company, things that I was looking for were maybe different management styles, maybe different technology. Obviously, I am incentivized by money, so also looking for higher pay. I did change companies 3 times before I started to realize that in the industry that I'm in, management and tech and compensation is typically all done the same way with just moving around a couple of figures. I hate to say it, but it's typically smoke and mirrors. If I was always looking for something where the grass was greener, it truly wasn't greener. It was just green in one certain area, but then brown in others, to keep up with that analogy. So as I started making changes to work for different mortgage companies, I really was looking for a different leadership style. I was looking for mentorship that was more along my lines of what I needed, which for me was how to be more efficient, how to really cut back in the amount of hours that I was working. I didn't necessarily want that Gary V, let's grind, let's put all of our effort into working more hours and be the one that's always working the hardest. I wanted someone to mentor me in how to work smarter and not necessarily harder. So I did find a mentor / coach that helped me get there, but I wanted to provide a company that would encourage others to do the same. That's when I really started to decide that, hey, I am going to figure out a way to build a company and provide that platform for others. So a great exercise for any entrepreneur to truly start building a scalable business that is truly an asset for them that they can eventually sell off and is worth something is to start writing down, it's an easy exercise. Write down everything that you do in a day. So I can start with that. Check my text messages, answer emails, prospect for potential referral partners, prospect and call past clients, everything from sending out marketing, working in Canva to create a marketing image. You write everything that you do in your business down. So for example, a plumber, okay, let's use that as an example too. He has to schedule the appointments. He has to confirm the appointment. He then has to show up to the appointment, diagnose and fix whatever is going on with that issue, then follow up for invoicing and making sure he's getting paid, ask for reviews to grow his business on Google, and ask for referrals to then hopefully get more business from that. So that's just a really simple example of everything that a plumber, and I know plumbers do more than that, but that's me breaking it down. What that is giving you is the exact job description that you can then start categorizing everything that's driving your business. So in my case, if I had Canva time that I spent creating social media images, videos that I was recording and then editing down on my iPhone, flyers that I need to be using as advertising, trying to figure out Google Ads to then grow my organic direct-to-consumer business, and social media posts that I need to schedule out using some sort of technology platform to do so. If I started clumping all of those together, I have then very clearly created a social media and marketing manager position. Go ahead, boom, put it out there. Those are the things I've done. Give it some proper expectations. And if you can't do that, hopefully the person that you hire can give you proper expectations for that position. Take out the actual doing of your business, break that down to another job description. So for the plumber, it would be marketing manager, office assistant to handle scheduling and follow up and invoicing, and then he as the actual plumber to do the plumbing work. As he continues to grow and that's running effectively and business hasn't stalled once he went ahead and put those 2 positions in place, then he can start looking for an apprentice to start shadowing him, learning the trade. Maybe someone that just left plumbing trade school and wanted a position can start under him as an apprentice. Now he can start giving those jobs to his apprentice. I think you've really won as an entrepreneur when the business that you created can run without you. So for example, if you are a great producer, sales, you need to be able to grow your company and hire the correct talent so that those sales will continue to come in when you remove yourself. That is truly when you have something that is an asset and can be sold and acquired. So as you are thinking either about building a business that you can eventually sell, you need to be able to make the money that you are currently making without you even being present in the room. So when you can do that, that's when you've hit the entrepreneurial goal of I've created an asset that is worth something without me.